Hello.
Hello, and welcome to Witchy Whims today.
Yeah,
It is a sudden burst of energy type of day.
it
I
is. It
really
was
think.
so beautiful this morning. It was almost chilly when I walked outside.
I know it just kind of reminds you that fall is on the way, and
Mm-hmm.
I do have to get my collective self together for that.
Yeah.
I still have to do like collect wood and stuff like that. I was trying to get you guys a little picture of behind me better. Ah, there we go. You can see the river. I'll just slide over a bit. Ah, there we are. And now you can see me and the river behind me.
Yeah.
I think everyone enjoys that.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit of nature
I
in my
agree.
podcasting. So
Yep.
anyway, I can take these off now. I do have my umbrella, so I can position it strategically to shade me. So anyway, how are you doing today, Nellie?
Doing really good. I agree with you. The energy outside definitely is helping, but
Mm-hmm.
I saw it said we're going to get like up to 101 next Wednesday.
Mm.
Like, oh, that's a swimming pool day, definitely. But yeah,
Oh,
it was
definitely.
it was nice just being outside a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
seeing the
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I went down to my beach. I have a little bit of beach down here,
Uh-huh.
so actually sand, and of course lots of rocks,
Right.
and of course I have to collect a lot of them. Here, let me
Of
show you.
course.
This is ridiculous, but I found like a bunch of just nature out there.
Ooh.
Some of it's like I got a pelican feather,
Mhm.
and then there's I'm not sure what kind of feather this is, but it was just so perfect
It
and pretty.
is. Yeah.
And then I found an ancient relic. Isn't that funny?
Yep.
Like, oh my god, look, it's an ancient relic. So, and a lot of really cool shells. I know a guy who has dreadlocks, and so then I'm always putting like bits of shell, pretty stuff, and in his I put a fish bone in
Oh.
his dreads, so that was kind of fun.
Uh-huh.
It's like beads or something.
Right.
But nature, I said I'm going to make you nature's child.
That's right.
You'll be nature boy when I'm done.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I even found these. I'm pretty sure they're deer ribs down the road,
Oh.
and a lot of fish bones. Like vertebra and stuff. There was a fishing net that washed up. Whoop, washed up.
Oh,
That's a vertebra
wow.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got two of them sticking together, which I thought was kind of neat. And I don't know what kind of a spell you might use them in. Oh, whoa, this is an anomaly. It is fused together at the back where it probably should be open like the one above.
Mhm.
So it's an anomaly.
Wow.
Nice. I'm always digging that. And then I found a foramen magnum too, which is the top hole that your spinal cord comes out. I
Right?
think a portion of the brain stem is actually in it, and then it goes out to the rest of the body. Well, I think I found what is a fish foramen magnum. So that was
Wow.
that was kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love finding stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I could have
Yep.
been an archaeologist.
Could have. You still can.
Hey, Faye McDonald says, "Hello, ladies from Nova Scotia." All
Oh,
right.
awesome. Hello.
Um, in Nova Scotia, you guys have a lot of beaches, I think, and coastline.
Mhm.
Do you ever get a chance to go and beachcomb there and find some neat treasures? Maybe we could be pen pals and trade stuff, trade feathers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
fun to
It is.
delve in all of the nature's elements. Um,
Mhm.
one of my favorite things is these little teeny shells. They're tiny little shells.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny to think that some marine creature um, lived,
Right?
inside of it.
Right?
And yeah, hey Nigel. Oh, thank you for sharing that. You're so great. We really appreciate that. So get us out there and say hey. Oh, so you do beachcomb. All right.
Yeah.
It's fun. I tell you, I could. Oh, not too good for a lot of walking. Yeah, I'm lucky. I don't have to walk a lot to get
Right.
to the beach. So, and I'm making grounding jars. And so I'm taking
Mm.
some of these stones, these nice stones, and putting them in jars. And then if you live in an apartment or someplace where you really don't get out much into
Mhm.
like grass or the earth,
Right.
you could spread these on a little rug and put your feet on them. And then you could still get some grounding from your stone.
Yeah.
And I put, just a ton of good intention. I picked up each one individually.
Right.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
do like to hunt rocks. I'm
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, rock collectors. Coin collectors are numismatists. Not sure what you call rock collectors.
I don't
Crazy,
know.
kooky.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Here's
we like
my new familiar.
oh,
Hello. So,
we went to Lake Michigan over by
oh,
Chicago for Easter and
uh-huh.
found just gazillion hagstones.
Oh,
I mean, they were
nice.
everywhere, and so I
Yeah.
brought a ton back and have like been giving them away. And
Uh-huh.
we found some that actually were like heart shaped that you could
Oh,
like hang in
neat.
a necklace. And, yeah,
Save
that's
one
pretty
for
fun.
me. I don't
I
have a
I
hagstone.
will. I'll have to
All
find them.
right.
I have to figure out where I put them since we moved.
Oh,
But
hello,
yeah,
Mort. How are you doing today? Mort says hello.
hello.
Oh, funny. And then, hey, Wayne, how you been doing? Nice to see ya. Hey, 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 to you as well. And love and light, much love and light. Yeah,
Hmm.
I told him I was going to steal that because I just thought that was so great. To wish somebody love and light,
Yeah.
is just the greatest thing. So.
Yep.
Yeah, totally great. So, well, today we were going to talk about manifestation.
Yep.
And do you want to tell us a story about how you've manifested things into your life?
Well, I know like right after we moved here, and it was like, you've been like we've been manifesting for a long time, right? But
Hmm.
sometimes I just think that if we don't really follow through with it or feel like it could really happen,
Hmm.
then it just doesn't really happen, right?
Yes.
And so like for myself, I once we moved here, like the boys' bedroom in the basement is still like it's red, bright red
Hmm.
70s carpet.
Wow.
And there's like no padding. And I was just like, I was shampooing it and getting it ready for them to go down there. And I just said to the universe, I'm like, I'm done messing around. I need the money within this many days
Hmm.
so that I can have that replaced.
Yeah. Did you have any idea when you asked that where it might come from?
Well, I generally go through spurts with my business where I'll just all of a sudden get tons of people wanting readings or healings and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's generally how, when I need money, that's how I manifest it.
Uh huh.
And then my guides like give me ideas for like new healings and sessions to put up
Hmm.
and things like that. But I swear that as soon as I actually told the universe, I'm done playing around, I'm done being screwed, I need that money.
Hmm.
I mean, I just had so many people like reaching out saying they needed something,
Yeah.
and it hasn't come to that time frame yet where I said I needed it all. But it's just, I think when we just are like very, very serious,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
that
it's the
makes a huge
intent,
difference.
You have to
Hmm.
have that intent there that
Right.
you are serious about this and that you are going to make it happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I think that determined, really um, stick to it kind of attitude you have to have
Yeah.
sometimes. And I think that's what it takes to actually get the energy flowing that you need to do some of these really big things.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
how long have you been manifesting that you can like remember? How far back can
Um,
you remember that maybe you manifested things for yourself?
well, I think, when I first started my spiritual journey, I started seeing things about manifesting. Like, because, before that, we're never
Mhm.
told to ask for things for ourselves, right? Like that's
Right,
wrong to ask for things for yourself. So,
right, right.
I think it's probably been about 4 years, and that's when we started manifesting a new house, a bigger house for our family and stuff like that. And that like whole idea and concept has morphed over the last 4 years until
Hmm.
finally we just got a house that fits basically everything that we
Nice.
asked for. It's just that those bigger things, it takes a little bit more time.
Hmm. I
It,
believe so. Yeah.
some things can happen instantly, like if you're manifesting a new pet or, a new
Hmm.
car,
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
They can, it can happen pretty quick, but
Yes.
some other things I think that has to just like, you still have blocks to clear sometimes, I think, to get
Yeah.
you to believing and, and knowing that you
Right.
can have what you,
Well, yeah, it's
yeah,
one of those big things that you think you can't achieve, or that well, I can't do that. That's too hard, you
right,
know?
right,
And I think we've all thought that about something or the other, that we wanted in our lives, but we thought to ourselves, even if it's the smallest part way in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I can't do this,
mm-hmm,
then that little part is holding you back
right,
from being able to really make it happen because in your mind, you have to be able to visualize what
mm-hmm,
it is that you want.
yeah,
Then you have to get that feeling of what it feels like when you have it, and when you
yeah,
get, what is it going to feel like to me when that happens, and you let that feeling
exactly.
happen now, because it is going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
So
that
yeah.
I was watching a video by Greg Braden. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's a big spiritual person, and he was saying like that's the difference is, everybody can pray for rain,
Hmm.
but that one person who stands there in the desert and
Hmm.
puts his hands up expecting it to fall on him right then,
Okay.
that's how you make it happen.
Yeah. um you kind of have to, you imagine it real, envision the life that you want, and the things that you want to happen, and then feel as if they've already happened, and then write it down. You really have to write it down, like with any goal. You have
Mhm.
to write, whoa, let me put my umbrella down, it's getting kind of breezy. But yeah, you have to really, you have to write it down, as with any goal, that you
Right.
have in your life. If you don't write it down, oh, you'll never do it. And
Right.
if
And
you
it
don't put it on a time frame, you'll
yeah.
never get it done. you know you'll just think,
Yeah.
oh, I can do that later, I can do that tomorrow, or you know next
Mhm.
week maybe I'll start that.
Right.
But when you,
I
yeah, go
always
ahead.
write it down in pen as well or marker
Yeah,
because
good idea.
it just seems to be better than having something that can be erased because right you can change your mind or you can
Yes.
go back and change the date or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, let me give myself another week on
Right.
that. And so then, let's see. I have some notes here actually. I listened to a guy. He is like a he's an Indian fellow, and
Mhm.
he goes around and he talks to people and stuff about manifesting. I have his name written down here, but he is very, just very down to earth, very spiritual. His name is Sad Kawir. I don't know. I know I'm not saying that right. But yeah, Sad Guru. That's what it is. Sad Guru
Oh,
is his
okay.
name. He has, if you look up manifestation on like YouTube,
Mhm.
um, you'll get videos from him, and he's just so positive, and really great information, and he's just a great guy. But yeah, you have to write it down, and then write each thing out, and then pray on it and tell the universe what you want. Say it out loud.
Mhm.
Say, I want this to happen, and
Yep.
then over the next few days, you think about it. You think about ways that you can make things happen,
Mhm.
like make business calls, or
Yeah.
start something, apply for jobs, whatever it might.
Right.
But yeah, be positive and upbeat, and believe that what you want can and will be given to you. You have
Mhm.
to really believe it, have the
Right.
faith that the universe is going to take care of you. It's going to be there for you. It wants you to succeed, you know?
Yeah.
And the creator didn't make us just so that we could, flounder around and fail.
Exactly.
That's on us. So if we can get that out of the way,
Yeah.
we really can make things happen. So my cat Bob is an example. um, the house is a little bit bigger, but well, I actually did when I was 10. I manifested a little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted a little brother really bad, when Dad married his second wife, um, and then the whole time she was pregnant, I was thinking little brother. And, well, what would I do with the little brother? What would we play? What would he be like? And just
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. And then when they told me, I was like, yeah, I know, because I always get what I want. So
Right.
even then, I was manifesting, and I knew I was, but I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And as a child, you have that childlike belief that things are going to go your way, that you will
Yep.
get your way.
Right. Anything's possible, right?
Right. And I always
Mm-hmm.
said I led a charmed life. And it was, I believe, charmed because I was manifesting the life that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, like when you're in your 20s and 30s, do you think about what your life is going to be like when you're 50, or when you're 60? I kind of did, and I kind of said, well, this is the kind of person I want to be, and
Mm-hmm.
this is the kind of life I would like to lead. And I'm kind of there. So things are going pretty good. And then,
Good.
not to mention Bob. Oh,
Right.
I had this Bob before I had the other Bob,
Mm-hmm.
the real Bob. He's around here somewhere. The real Bob. I had another cat, Wilson. He was just wonderful, and he got hit in the road by a drunk driver,
Oh.
and he was killed instantly, I'm sure. So I buried him. The day I buried him, I found $420 in the Bible that I was going to use to read the 23rd Psalm for his, burial.
Right.
And I knew I had written it. I had hidden it there myself because it was $420. So then, so then I got money, and then I'm lonely without my cat. You miss
Yeah.
the purr. This one was okay, but no purr. So
Right.
it's just kind of lackluster. And I thought, well, what am I'd want a male cat that's not real old, but not a kitten. And said something to my friend Jack. Jack, I want a kitten or I want a cat for Christmas. And he's like, well, I ain't getting you a cat. I said, you don't have to. So then I opened the door, and there he was, right on the porch, right outside my door, just like somebody had plopped him there.
Wow.
And I looked around, nobody. So, here, kitty, come on in, because it was
Yeah.
cold. It was like in
Yeah.
December. It was Christmas time. And so, yeah, here he come. And I've had Bob ever since, and it was pretty incredible.
Yeah. You just can't make that stuff up.
No,
I
you
mean,
really
that
can't.
it's crazy how
And
stuff like
I'm
that
going to
happens.
say I didn't manifest that cat.
Right.
I couldn't even deny it to myself. So,
Right. Yeah.
for sure, things like that do happen. And my first show was on manifestation. My first Ask Madam, and
Uh-huh.
and I had a few people that were like, nah, and I understand that because it is something that is to some people really far fetched,
Mm-hmm.
so that you could make your own life happen, that everything in your life is not happening to you, but you are causing it to occur. You're
Right.
creating that in your life.
Right. Right.
So,
So we're sending out vibrations to the universe, and the universe is sending back exactly what we're sending out.
mhm,
That's why we have to raise our vibrations, and where we have
yes.
to like say what we want and have that positivity and believing it can
Mhm.
come. Else it'll never come.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be joyous, and you have to, live in the moment, and you have to really be, above that negativity. You have to just kind of vibrate above it.
Right. Yep.
So it's hard not to get sucked down into it from time to time. But, I think overall, if you stay above that
Right.
vibration, I think it'll kind of avoid you. you know.
Yeah.
If you're super positive, negativity kind of tends to go the other way, which
Mhm.
it makes sense, it repels it,
Yep.
because positive and negative poles repel each other,
Mhm.
it makes sense.
Yeah. And
So,
I think, like, just getting past the block that we don't deserve anything. I mean, because,
yeah.
like, I think, like, Christianity and stuff has always told us that we're a worm, we're nothing. We
Yes.
deserve nothing, and so then when we, like, think, "Well, maybe I could have a better life."
Hmm.
Well, no, God doesn't want me to have a better life because I
Right.
have to suffer.
Well, yeah, and you're supposed to give of yourself. So, if you feel like if I have a blanket, then and someone else needs it, maybe they need it worse than me here.
Yeah.
you know. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was taught that like if you had more than you needed, you should give to others, and
Mhm.
so I've tried to do that as a general rule, but then it's like you know they're not paying it forward sometimes. And
Right.
you hope that if you do something nice for someone that they will at some point when they can do something nice for someone else you know
Right.
I remember that not too long ago a friend went to Atlantic City, New Jersey, and she was kind of on a budget, and so I gave her $20 just to play the slots, do whatever you want, have a drink, anything. And because a man, when I was 18 and I was going out to Atlantic City, New Jersey, flying on a plane the first time in my whole life, gave me $20. He said, "You remind me of my daughters. Here, have $20. Go." He goes, "I know you're not old enough, but go play the roulette wheel or something." So I said, "Okay," and I think I went and had ice cream or dinner or something. But anyway, he was just very nice to me, very kind, and so I repaid that kindness. It
Right.
took me. It took me like I don't know, 40 years, maybe 30 years, but
Right.
I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, and you're right, like, we can be, like, the person who helps another person experience
Mhm,
abundance, right? Like,
mhm,
just like you said, so, like, one day I was, like, doing readings online, and this guy from the UK, like, I don't know, we became friends from a group or something, and he had never had a reading, and I just did a simple reading for him,
mhm.
and we're trying to go on a trip together, my husband and I, and this money was just really tight, and then one day, all of a sudden, I just had, like, $111 come to me, like, on PayPal,
Wow,
and I was like, "What the heck?"
111. That's
Yeah,
funny.
he particularly was sending it to be 11111,
Right.
and I was like, "What in the heck is that for?" And he's like, "Well," he says, "I really appreciated
Uh-huh.
that, the reading that you gave me, and I want you to experience abundance." And
Oh,
so,
that's
like,
nice.
the universe, that was the beginning of me really believing that I could manifest
Yeah.
exactly what I needed. And
Mhm.
so now I'm just, like, been mulling it in my mind the last couple of days, like, how am I gonna pay it forward? Like, I was telling the universe, because I love numbers,
Mhm.
and eights are, infinite abundance. I'm like,
Oh,
"Universe,
yes.
I would love to be able to just PayPal him back $888.88 sometime."
Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
He was a young father living in London, driving bus,
Yeah.
and, I'm just
And
like,
they tax the living crap out of them in England, by the
"Do
way.
they?"
Oh God, it's terrible. It's worse. It may be worse than it is here. Wayne could tell us if he's still on with us. Wayne, they tax the living crap out of you, don't they? I think Nigel's in England too. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, let us know what the taxes are like there.
Yeah.
I think they're not good. I was watching Dan and Viv the other day. Here we go. When I had it covered up, but he says love and light. That's awesome. I love that. So, but yeah, I was listening to Dan and Viv, and I think they tax the living daylights out of them over there. So, yeah, it's terrible. Um, then yeah, I got the thing too is it says get excited. So like if you're manifesting stuff, and you are say you're manifesting like a new house or something, or a relationship or whatever it is, get excited about that happening. every day.
Mhm.
Think,
Mhm.
God, I can't wait. That's going to be so awesome,
Right.
and just give it that energy where you really, pump yourself up for it, because
Yeah.
I think that helps too. That energy, that
Right.
positive energy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then let's see. Uh, Always stay positive. Say it like it's already done. Don't spend time thinking anything opposite to what you want to um, manifest.
Right.
Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's where a lot of us get that roadblock is
Mhm.
because we think things other than what we're trying to manifest. We
Right.
think things like, oh, this couldn't really happen.
Mhm.
Even that small little inkling in the back of your mind
Right.
that says, oh, this isn't probably going to happen. You
Right.
have to get rid of it and just throw it away and walk away from it and don't look back and just say, anything's possible. This might just happen today.
Mhm. Yep, that positivity is a big
Huge.
step. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you meditate, uh, feel it and smell it and hear it and taste it and
Yes.
really put yourself in that situation and really start living it at least in your brain because
Mhm.
then it will come to the physical. Um, if you can get yourself to that higher vibration, that higher plane, and it will come.
Right.
It
Right.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I even wrote down a spell to create a sunny day. I must have been tired of the rain.
Yeah.
Oh lordy lord. So and then also I manifested Dylan. I wanted someone very much like him in my life, and I even wrote down all the qualities that I wanted this person, well, man, to have. And by golly, he's got just about all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. Pretty much, yeah, he's got all of the ones that I wrote down. So
Mhm.
he's a pretty stellar dude, and I couldn't believe that he came into my life like that. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's a fun adventure. Let's say
Mhm.
just a fun adventure. But I'm polyamorous, so I have a couple of fun adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, him in particular was someone that I asked for, and
Mhm.
and he came. Ta-da!
Well, there you go.
I know it's wonderful. So that's what I wanted to tell you out there, ladies. Write the things down that constitute the perfect man for you, and then don't settle for less because this is what you want in life. Don't settle for Mr. Almost There or Mr. Okay. Hold out. You're worth it. You're worth every bit of what you have wanted, in a partner. And
Mhm.
really just wait for it because it will come, you
Mhm.
know. Make
Yep.
yourself ready, be happy inside. Even if you're alone, be happy,
Right.
Have things, hobbies and things, and have a life that's complete, even if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And then someone will see that and they'll want to make themselves a part of it because they appreciate it and they like what you have going on.
Right.
I'd say that's the best way to attract somebody is to be happy and healthy and look like you're really not interested.
Right. And not desperate, right? Like if we can create
Exactly.
our own happiness
Yeah.
now, then we won't get into like codependent relationships, right?
Exactly.
Or
Because
saying
we
that,
think more of ourselves than that.
right.
It comes back to self-worth, I think, too.
Yeah,
You
like I
know.
can't be happy unless I
Mhm.
have that.
Right.
Well, that's just putting off the work we have to do inside to be
Yes.
ready to actually have that.
Right. And we have to realize too, happiness comes from here, not out here,
Yep,
out here. Because
absolutely.
I think a lot of people think that it's the outside influences that make them happy or unhappy. But it's really not. It's just your reaction to the things that happen.
Yes.
Um, it's your choice to be happy. And you can be happy in a dirt floor hovel with nothing, and eating worms, but you can still feel happiness inside. Maybe you're just grateful to have worms. I don't know, but
I don't know.
I
That
mean,
would be hard.
I'm just saying it's like it's a choice to be happy, and
Right.
you can be happy in any situation.
Right.
I mean, there's times when, yeah, if you've got yourself into a bad situation and you're in an abusive relationship or
Mm,
something, you're probably not very happy. But the thing
right.
is, you can remove yourself from that and
Right.
find happiness after that. But
Right.
happiness really comes from here.
Right.
And that's that inner work we talk about.
Yep.
So you have to
Yep.
work on yourself before you can love someone else. Because honestly, I think a lot of people don't have that self worth, or they think they don't really love themselves.
Right.
And if you don't love yourself, it's pretty hard for someone else to love you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's
Yep.
to love? You don't even love yourself.
Right. Yep.
So,
Yep.
um, but yeah, what's your experience with the whole self love thing? Because you had
Ugh.
a little journey. You probably had to find some self love.
Yeah. Well, like, I guess I finally realized, like women, we just generally have like low self-esteem. And I think some of that we pick up like from our moms and from
Mm,
our grandmas, but then it's just society in general telling us that we're never
hmm.
good enough unless we look X, Y, and Z. And
Right.
that if you don't look like X, Y, and Z, then your husband's going to leave you. Like, so we just get all kinds of like insecurities, right? And,
Right.
just like some struggles in our relationship,
Mm,
I came to the point where I figured that I just was not worthy of anything anymore.
mm. Yeah.
And when after we got moved and I started settling in and I started thinking to myself, every time I think that, that's me putting it on him by saying, well, he isn't gonna want me anymore, or he doesn't. And I realized I was the one. It was
Hmm.
never him. I
Yeah.
was the one speaking that and putting that
Yeah.
out there. And I
Yep.
need and then but if I could blame it on him,
Well, you
I
projected it onto him.
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't have to fix inside
Right. Right.
that frequency that I needed to change.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
So,
Yeah. Because if it's someone else's fault, it's not. It has nothing to do with
yeah.
us.
And then we don't have to deal with it. Like, and that's
Right.
where I think like shadow work comes in. Like, that
Mm.
was totally a shadow I was hiding,
Yeah.
and I had to dig deep and say, I'm going
Yeah.
to quit. I'm going to quit projecting that on someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So,
sure. And then, and I think, um, is that you take the air out of narcissists, when you have your own self worth, when you know
right.
your own self worth, because
Exactly.
it's just like, oh, that's bullshit. You can just look at it and get,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
when you know that you're worthy, when you have your
mhm,
boundaries up and everything, no one can make you feel less than you are, no matter how hard they
yep.
try.
Yep, that's true. And I mean, honestly, you have to be willing to let go of people or situations that are not serving you. You know,
Mhm.
and even though it's hard, and especially if it's like with a mate, that is just not getting with the program and treating you the way you should be treated. It's hard, but you really have to break from it because your life is just going to be on hold there
Yeah.
until you get that straightened out. And
Mhm.
you're just going to be in a holding pattern because the divine's waiting for you to wise up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So I mean, I think it takes doing that inner work, and
yeah.
it takes like writing it down, and then like there's
Hmm.
other things we can do. Like, I don't know if you've ever done like a Mabon spell with an acorn.
No, I don't think so.
You have to Google it. Like, but it's where on Mabon you take like a dollar bill
Hmm.
and you fold it around an acorn,
Uh huh.
and there's like something specific you recite, and then you tuck it away somewhere and you
Okay.
leave it. And so that any time during that whole rest of the year until the next Mabon,
Uh huh.
um, when you need money,
Uh
it will
huh.
be there.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Is
just
it
a fun one.
is it May Day that you're uh
See that now Mabon, I'm trying to think. I just remember, I think, is it Mabon in February?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that
Just a
holiday.
minute. Let me look here.
Where does that fall under? Because I've never heard of it before.
Um, well, there's different names for different. Some
Hmm.
call it Maybon, some call it shoot. I just remember it being a Maybon spell. Let me look that up real quick. It
Okay.
probably has a different name that we're more familiar with.
Right. That's what I was wondering. Because, because I learn stuff too all the time. I mean, from you and other people that podcast and just other people in general and life in
Oh,
general. I try and learn stuff all the time.
it's coming up. It's September. Let's see, what is Maybon? Maybon is a pagan holiday and one of the 8 Wiccan spots celebrated during the year. It's the autumn equinox.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's the autumn equinox.
Coming
And
up pretty quick, I think.
yeah, so it's like a harvest festival, that kind of thing. It looks like it's on September 22nd.
Okay. September
Yeah.
22nd.
And so then you can just like Google
So you take an
Maybon.
acorn, right?
Yeah.
And a piece of
Maybon.
paper.
A dollar bill.
Oh, a dollar bill. Okay, so acorn and a dollar bill.
Yeah. And
La la.
let's
Okay.
see.
And
Yeah.
then yeah, we can go over the rest of that later, but
Yeah.
it's good to know. And actually, it's good to know the autumnal equinox too, because there's probably a lot of things that go along with that.
Right.
Is that one of those clean your altar holidays?
I don't know, but
I always do it at like springtime. I
right.
clean it out, and then in the fall. So I suppose the autumnal equinox, I probably would, because then I'll set it up, sort of not quite for the winter
Right.
festivals, but I'll kind of get it where it's cleared out and ready for that.
Mhm. Yeah, okay, so let's see. It's when you start gathering like apples and stuff like that, and letting go of things that did not serve you during the last 12 months, recognizing your successes. Um, you work with the goddess Demeter and setting intentions that involve decrease and reduction, such as ending bad relationships, unhealthy habits, or self destructive thoughts.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it is a cleaning out, right? It's
Yeah,
weird, though,
it is.
that it would be like it's the time of harvest, but yet
Yeah.
energetically it's the time to clean out.
Yes. Well, because wintertime is a time that you kind of hold on to things,
Right.
because it's cold and you want to store things and kind of keep things, over the winter. So I think it is a good time to clean out and just kind of purge yourself of things that aren't going to serve you over the next winter months. Because
Yeah.
why hold on to stuff that long?
Right.
Until it comes
Yeah.
spring. Oh my God. Because, yeah, you don't really clean your altar then again until spring. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It says here clean your house and get rid of stagnant negative energy.
yep.
And that's when you can like start celebrating like decorating for fall,
Uh huh.
and bringing in those things to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. All your Halloween decorations and stuff,
right.
pumpkins
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
all that
Which
good stuff.
which I'm hearing that the dollar store around here, the Dollar Tree, already
Uh,
has like skulls and stuff out.
oh, yeah. I'm sure they
I'm
have.
gonna have to get there
Oh,
soon.
yeah. I'm sure they have their Halloween stuff out already.
Hmm.
They probably have a little corner where it's Christmas already. But,
Probably. Yeah.
you got to take that too. So,
Yep.
yeah. But then, yeah, manifesting, oh, we were talking about loving yourself. I actually gave myself a hug, you know,
Hmm.
like, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're not so bad. Just, I love you. You're okay. And so,
Hmm.
I think you kind of have to do whatever it is that makes you feel accepted by yourself.
Hmm.
And granted, you're not always going to be a perfect person. You're not always going to do the right thing, and sometimes you're going to be kind of a jerk. But all in all, you're not a bad person. You really want to still help people
Right.
and be a part of things and work in a positive direction,
Mm-hmm.
and raise your kids positively, and with some ethics and values, and I
Right.
think you just have to go with that.
Yep.
So, because
Yep.
that's really all you have anymore,
Mm-hmm.
um, in this crazy, crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yep.
Uh, let's see. Oh, okay. I got workout and then call eBay. I called eBay though; they're all good. Still got to get the workout in though today.
Yeah.
I was thinking kayaking would have been great, like at 6
Oh,
o'clock this morning.
yeah.
It would have been superb. It
It
was
would
so
have.
beautiful. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
kind of a little poem about how gorgeous it was, this morning,
Yeah.
and the sun shimmering off the water like a thousand diamonds.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yep.
I like to write things. So when it comes to like manifesting and writing things down, I'm always writing things
Yeah.
down. And you really do have to write goals down, because if you don't, you will never do them. And
Yeah.
without a time frame, they never get done either. So
Right.
it's
Yep.
always push it to the back burner. So, and I'm a big procrastinator, not even gonna lie. And I was gonna start a group, but then I thought, well, we'll meet tomorrow. But it's always tomorrow.
Right.
Well, no, maybe not today. How about tomorrow? We'll
Right.
get so. So my
Yep.
procrastinators group still is not really formed very
Well,
well.
it just,
Oh
it kind
dear.
of makes me think of that saying. What does it say about if you take one step toward the gods, they'll take 10 steps towards you?
Oh,
So, like
nice.
with our manifesting, you don't just put it out there and just walk away. You do have to like take steps
Yeah. Oh
to make
yeah.
your life better. Like if you're
Yep.
manifesting abundance and stuff
Mhm.
like and being debt free or something like that, you've still got to pay off those debts. Like they're not
Oh
just
yeah.
going to disappear. Like the universe isn't just going to make them just like get ticked off the list. And
Right.
if you want to manifest like a really great relationship, you've got to be the person as well. You just
Right.
can't expect someone else to walk in and everything's going to be great if you're still
Right.
like holding trauma and stuff and all
Well,
that.
yeah. If you're a mess, the person that you want to be with isn't probably going to want to be with you. So,
Unfortunately not.
yeah, so you really have to be like, have it together somewhat, because really, that's for you to do. And
Mhm.
and if you don't make that effort and try to be the kind of person that would be a good helper, a good person to be with, then yeah, it's not going to happen for you.
Yep.
And that's your block. Um,
Mhm.
if you have some kind of block, things are not going to happen.
Right.
So you have to look in here to find that and figure out what it is that's stopping you from getting the things that you want.
Mhm.
So, because there's something in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But hopefully, every day we all get a little better. We love ourselves a little bit more. We up our vibrations a little bit more, and just, participate in life a little bit more.
Right.
So I said
Yep.
life's exciting if you're really living it.
Right.
And it really is. Every day is just something new, something amazing.
Mhm.
Even like just going down to the beach and finding all these little, beautiful things that
Right.
nature made. Um, having the ability to do that, and just the time, that to
Mhm.
me was something that I feel like I manifested,
Right.
is that I would have the time to live, you know,
Right.
like I wanted to.
Mhm.
Like I have the time to go down to the beach and piss around.
Right.
And that's awesome.
Right.
So, but I still, I'm trying to manifest some more money, because I do really have some issues that need to be taken care of. And
Mhm.
so I'm working on money this time, straight up. And I'm like you, I said, that's it. This is happening.
Right.
I'm not fooling around anymore. This
Right.
is happening this time.
Right.
Because, tell us about the Lionsgate portal, right?
Yeah, so that's coming up. So it's already open, but then
Hmm.
it peaks on August 8th. And that's when like there's a portal opening in Leo,
Hmm.
and that is a huge manifestation portal. And so really just, of course, last night was the new moon, right? So hopefully we did our intentions.
Yeah,
And but I think that, just
yeah,
like
I totally
letting
did.
it ramp up until the 8th, and maybe even
Hmm.
putting the intentions out there again,
Yep.
um so that we're just like, and one thing that I like to do is, like an ankh, like an Egyptian ankh. It's like the
Yes.
cross with thing.
Hmm.
Those are great manifesting symbols.
Oh, okay.
And so like you can like even do a meditation where you are imagining like a huge ankh out in front of
Uh-huh.
you,
Yeah.
and you are pulling through the hole in the top of the ankh all of your manifestations. So if you're trying to manifest a new car, then you just see that car coming through the ankh.
Hmm.
And this is something that you can do every day. Gosh, it's been forever since I've done it. But the more that you like put that energy into that ankh
Uh-huh.
in your energy field,
Uh-huh.
it'll actually just stay there. You won't even have to like keep imagining it every day, but just like it's almost like you're pulling whatever that is from another dimension. Like they say, there's many dimensions and many timelines, and there's lots of us running
Yes.
around out in the universe, right? And some of them are in a lower
Hmm.
vibration, some are in a higher vibration,
Hmm.
and we can like pull that energy. So somewhere out there in the universe is someone who has the exact job that we're trying to manifest,
Yeah.
and we can like pull through from that dimension that energy from that other us to us now.
Wow.
So
That's kind of a mind blower, really.
mhm.
For a lot of people, I'm sure that that's just like too
It's
far
just
out there.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
a
something
little
you see
too
on Stargate.
existential. But it's very well possible.
Mhm.
And I never say it's not possible because that's the thing. Things that seemed impossible have happened in my life. So
Right.
never again will I say, "Oh, that's not possible."
Right. Yeah, we've got to get out of that mind frame and
I
just,
think we do.
yeah.
We have to believe that things are possible and that magic does exist because it really does.
Right.
Things that you think to yourself, oh, that's not going to happen, that couldn't happen, and it does happen. And
Right.
that's the magic. Sometimes I feel it just like bubble up inside of me,
Mhm.
and just like come out of like the top of my head and my fingertips, and just that energy, I can feel it going out into the universe to
Right.
do the work of the things that I'm trying to manifest into my life, and
Right.
the spells that I've worked, and it that energy goes out to work that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I see Mort was asking when is the portal opening. And so I
Oh,
think it was
yes.
like it was yesterday or the day before that it actually started opening, and then it's fully open on the 8th of August. And so this is also a great time to work like with any cat god or goddess. So like you have
That's
Bastet,
right.
Sekhmet, those are like the Egyptian ones. Like work with any of that cat energy that's coming through, with Leo and all of that to just, really bring your manifestations through. So,
That's awesome, though. I love
mhm.
cats anyway, so
Yeah,
all that cat energy's good.
yeah,
So use cat energy, and then there was something else that you were saying. Oh, it's opening now. So the portal's opening now, so you can start your stuff now because it was the new moon last night.
yeah.
So the new moon is also a time to start manifesting. So you can
Hmm.
start manifesting right now,
Right,
and then just keep keep going with your intention, keep going with your writing things down and saying it, and create a mantra for this, that
hmm.
this is what I want, this is where I'm going with it, this is what I want to do,
Right,
and,
yeah.
and I'm making this happen.
Right. And so like one way that I think is really simple, like to clear blocks in any way, is to just
Hmm.
like work with the violet flame. And I know one of my friends, she said that that's the message she's been getting, is as we're moving up into the portal to use like the violet ray or the violet flame, which is like the total like purple energy coming from source, and it transmutes, right? So like there's all kinds of ways you can use it. You can just envision you're sitting in a flame of fire. You can just invoke the violet flame to you, but it literally goes down and it clears negative karma, and
Okay.
it goes down all the way to your cells, like to that dark matter that's between your atoms and your cells, right?
You're
and it,
right.
and it clears all that.
Uh-huh.
So it's a great way to like start working on your karma, so that you're balancing that out and you're clearing the karma that would be keeping you from experiencing all of your manifestations and abundance. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it clears everything, absolutely everything. So you can't go wrong using it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to do a little bit more meditation. Uh, I have a hard time kind of just, being still, I guess. And just, letting things happen. Because I have, there's so many things always to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should be doing this. Oh, I got dirty dishes. Oh, and the laundry's downstairs. I need to get it switched
Right.
over.
Right.
And so sometimes it's hard for me to let go of stuff like that and just relax and be and go into my head. But I'm getting
Right.
better at it. The other day I had to give some blood for a test, and I really hate that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I went to my forest and
There you go.
I sat on my swing in my big oak tree in my forest, and not a problem. Got right
Perfect.
through it. So
Yeah.
I'm doing better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then let's see. We have. Do you have any announcements of anything coming up here? We announced the Lionsgate portal that's opening.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we'll be on again though before that actually happens.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we'll
Yeah.
be on next week before it happens.
Right.
So we'll kind of touch a little bit on that, um, and then we may have a guest. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So for next
Yeah.
week's Witchy Whims.
Yeah. I know for people who are like local here,
Mhm.
August 27th, there's the Iowa Pagan Fest.
Oh,
It's out in
um,
Cedar Rapids. No,
Cedar
no, it's in
Rapids.
Burlington. It's in
Oh,
Burlington.
okay, Burlington. That's not too far away.
No, it's like
Um,
an hour and 15-minute drive from my house. I know me and some friends are
okay.
going up to be vendors and stuff like that. So
Oh, really? Okay.
it should be fun. I've never
Yeah.
been to a pagan fest before. So
Yeah, I never really have either. What was the date on that again?
the 27th of August.
Pagan Fest, August 27.
And they have like workshops and then all these vendors and stuff. And I think just going and meeting people would be fun.
Oh, sure. It's always fun to meet people that are of
Hmm.
a like mind,
Right.
and just talk about things that are of interest to pretty much all of us.
Right.
And yeah, just you get little tips and things from people, and you learn a lot from just listening to others.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then, of course, Monday I'll have Ask Madam at 9. Trying to get more people to ask questions. So, if you have questions for Madam, they can be health and fitness. They can be, anything about your witchiness or or chiropractic or just about anything. And if I don't have an answer, I will find
There
one.
you go.
So you can send that to skeletonkeywitches@gmail.com. So, and anything for Nellie too, if you've got a question for Nellie, or if you'd like to hear more about the upcoming Pagan Fest or anything, and you're in our area of the Iowa, Illinois, Quad City area, shoot us an email at skeletonkeywitches.com,
Hmm.
at gmail.com. And then also, this weekend is the Bix weekend here in Dav.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a big weekend here in Dav. They run a 7 mile race. It's a marathon,
Uh
here in
huh.
Dav, and it's up a hill, and then you go to McClellan Heights, and it's up and down hills, and then you go back down the big hill, and so it's a hilly race. There'll be world class runners there, and it's really an experience if you haven't been. There's like 100,000 people down
Oh
there.
my gosh.
It's incredible. I mean, just because I did it once. The year I turned 50, I did the Bix race, and I had never done it before in my whole life. I trained for a couple of years to get, where I felt
Right.
like I could do it, because 7 miles up and down hills
Yeah.
is a long way.
Mm-hmm.
My feet were killing me. And there was this like 90-year-old lady in the backpack with me. And I thought, I'm not letting that 90-year-old lady finish before me. No way. So I just put some pepper in it and took off. So, but I was kind of in the back with the Elvises, and stuff
Right.
like that. But I didn't care. I finished.
Right.
That
That's
was
what
all I
matters.
cared about. I
Yep.
finished it because it was tough.
Oh, I
So, but
bet.
yeah, yeah, that's going on this weekend here in the Quad Cities, and it's a big weekend. And so, if ever you were going to check out the Quad Cities, this might be a weekend you'd like to. But if you can
Mm-hmm.
get a hotel now,
Right. Yeah.
might have a little trouble with that.
Yeah.
But and then I think next weekend is the Tug Fest, which is the pull across the river.
Hmm.
There's they have a big rope, and they do a tug of war across the river, and
Oh.
it's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
Illinois usually wins, so I might go over to Port Byron to watch the thing.
There
So
you go.
we'll be with the winners already.
Right.
And
Yep.
then so then after that, I think the fair maybe is after that. Or no, wait, I'm sorry. I The Tug Fest isn't for like 2 weeks because the fair's in there too.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I used to do that with my kids. She showed rabbits and chickens.
Yeah.
It was fun. So
Yeah.
showing animals was fun.
Yeah. We used to show goats when I was younger.
Oh, goats! Oh,
Yeah.
they're so cool.
They are.
And
Yeah.
yeah, they're so nice. And they're milk. You can make soap and
Yep.
lotion,
We did all that. Yep.
all kind cheese. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yep.
versatile.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you just kind of have to get past the smell of the goat.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I had a little baby goat that we got at some kind of sale, and we had it in the yard, and it would just meh meh meh.
Uh-huh.
We ended up,
Very
I think,
loud.
giving it away. But yeah. Let's see. Any advice to clear blockages?
Well, like I said, just, working with the violet flame is great. Now, um, other ways to do that are to, like, I like the words clear, cancel, delete, and they're very powerful. So if I'm
Mhm.
dealing with an emotion that I know is not true or I need to get rid of, I'll just say, I clear, cancel, and delete this from my life, or even something in my life that I don't like being in my life, that it's not particularly me, it's
Mhm.
coming from someone else or something. So those words are actually really powerful for clearing things out of your body. I, you can write down what you want to get rid of, especially like on a full moon, and help with that. A lot of self-talk. So if you keep telling yourself you're not worthy of abundance, or you're not worthy to have that thing that you want, you're going to have to flip that. And every time you find yourself like thinking that, you have to stop and you have to say, I am
No.
worthy, right? Like you have to
Yes.
put those different words in there so that you don't keep like bringing that in.
Hmm.
Um, Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say real quick was that if you are the kind of person that hates asking for help, like you just feel like you have to do everything by yourself, or no one wants to help you, or it's all on your shoulders, that's a trauma response. We get that
Hmm.
usually when we're little.
Hmm.
And when we are like that, we are so closed off to
Yeah.
actually receiving that we will never, unless we actually start opening up to receiving. And a lot of
Hmm.
that is that you've got to clear your heart.
Hmm.
You can work with like the Pleiadian stars. So the Pleiades, the cluster in the sky, they are full of feminine energy, and it's been streaming towards Earth so much the last couple years. And it is all about opening up to receiving. So, in just working with the divine feminine, because that's going to help you to be open to receiving instead of all the masculine energy that's always like, I have to give, I have to be logical, I have to do all of these things to get what I want. So just working on that trauma response so that you are open to receiving.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing is you have to be open to it. If you think you don't deserve it, um, or that you're just not worthy of having that kind of life, or that reward or something,
Right.
then yeah, it won't come to you.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
a big one for a lot of people because somewhere, some place in someone's life, somebody told them they weren't good enough, and they let that stick on them, and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't you know love themselves enough to say no, they're wrong. That's
Right.
not true. I
Right.
am lovable, I am good, I am the kind of person that deserves everything good in the universe to come to me. And
Right.
so yeah, you have to
Yeah.
um
And it can be like as simple as the next time someone asks you, do you want a drink of water? Don't say no, I'll get it myself.
mhm,
Say yes, thank you.
yes,
And
mhm,
that's you starting to condition yourself to realize it is okay to receive help. And it can just be stupid, simple
yes,
stuff like that,
yeah.
you know.
Being a dom has got me where I can accept things now like that, because it used to be, well, I don't know what to tell them I need, because I can go get that myself. But no, you have to let people sometimes do that, because maybe it makes them feel good to
Yeah.
help you, or to get you a glass of water, and well, here you go, and they feel good about themselves because they were able
Right.
to do something nice for you.
Yep.
And a lot of times that's bolsters people's self-esteem.
Yep.
So let them do it. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I see that our time is up
Yep.
now, and it's at 1 hour. So I do appreciate everyone coming and spending your time with us, because frankly, that's a commodity that you can't get back. And we really do appreciate that you've come to hang out with us,
Yep.
and share. And we love to share with you, and help everybody learn things, and we learn things ourselves too. So
Yep.
thanks to everyone for participating in our morning, and blessed be, and have a great weekend.
Yep. Bye bye.